how are you? We were talking about how Russia and China are trying to snatch the superpower status from America, and how America is struggling to save its world order from these parts. This is the great game of today's world, and this is the story we are telling you. Friends, there is a Chinese tale from 1500 years ago that the general Jing Chong was a very good fighter. He not only fought with the sword but also with a small weapon, a stick like thing of 15 to 20 inches, which was called Jian. With it, he would break the skull of a strong opponent. This special art of fighting he inherited from his family, and this art was called Jian because of the name of this small weapon. This weapon became even more dangerous because an expert fighter could easily hide in it, um, in a long sleeve or anywhere in his shirt. Then, since it did not have a blade, it did not have a sharp edge, so it could easily be hidden in clothes. Its weight was not also not much, but obviously when an expert used Jian as a weapon, it proved more dangerous than a sword. Now friends, Chinese General Jing Chong with time created some more innovation in this art and took it to a new level. After this secret innovation, this art was called Jian. After including the secret innovation, now changed from Jian to Shaoshoyan. General Jing developed such mastery in it, friends, that with this ordinary stick he would break or drop whatever weapon was in the opponent's hand. Even if his enemy came wearing iron armor, he would, with this Soshan technique and that small stick, knock him down, and leave him unable to fight. This art was amazing, but it always remained secret. General Jing Chong did not pass it on to his next generation, to his family did not transfer it. Apparently, he thought that if I also teach this, then it is possible that someday I may have to fight my own people. Then there should be such an art, such a skill that only I know, so that I can defend myself. So, friends, from that time in China, any such weapon of fighting or war, such a method which is secret, which does not like a weapon, looks like an ordinary daily use thing. But in reality, so friends, from that time in China, any such weapon of fighting or war, such a method which is secret, which does not look like a weapon, looks like an ordinary daily use thing, but in reality is a very dangerous weapon, or a technique using it is called Soshan. Nowadays, it is also being used as a Chinese defense doctrine, meaning such a method of war in which you are fighting the enemy, but he cannot even understand that you are fighting him. You are disabling him. He does not even realize that he is being attacked with the dangerous weapon. He considered it a routine thing, and by the time he understands the whole game, the enemy has already achieved his objective. So, friends, China under the Shaoshoyan doctrine has especially targeted America and the American defense system because China does not want to or cannot do open confrontation in direct war or in weapons and technology war. So it has brought the Shaoshoyan technique into the field. Now, how does it use it? According to Unrestricted Warfare in 1999, two Chinese colonels presented the doctrine. This doctrine was presented for the Chinese army, that is the People's Liberation Army. Its Chinese name is something else, but in English it has been translated as Unrestricted Warfare. This doctrine is China's modern Shaoshoyan weapon technique. In it, it is discussed how military success can be achieved in today's global world. Now, apparently, friends, this doctrine is about future wars, future warfare, and modern wars. But in reality, this book tells how China, the PLA, has to compete with a much more powerful and a technologically far more expert superpower, America. And if at some time war happens with America, if it becomes necessary to fight a war, then how to win it? The essence of this doctrine is that the best way to win a war against America is to start a war right now and start it on those fronts where the American army is not present to defend. Now, which are these fronts where the American army is not even present or for defense? Actually, friends, Chinese experts believe that the biggest weakness of the American military is that they are not seeing the full battlefield. The American army considers becoming more and more expert in technology and making innovations as its success. They think that if they have made unmanned drones, made fighting robots, made fifth generation stealth technology, fighter jets, started deceiving radars, etc., then now they have gained superiority over all other armies in the world. Now they think that they have become capable of winning future wars. According to the Chinese doctrine, this was very thinking in American biggest weakness, because Americans are ignoring those warfares where war happens before war. Now, which are these warfares? According to modern Shaoshoyan, unrestricted warfare. These include law warfare, economic warfare, and cyber or networking warfare. We will talk about all these, friends, in these great game videos. But first, let us tell you that surprisingly, cyber warfare is the field where China is continuously defeating America. Now, how? Friends, this is the famous picture of 17th April 2021, which you must have seen when in the belly of an American plane flying from Kabul. 640 Afghans came and sat. Steve Su had bought a nice house worth $2 million in Canada, where he lived and his children studied in Switzerland. He established a mid-level company in Canada called Blue Tech, which used to supply cables, etc., to aerospace companies and aircraft manufacturing institutions from 2009 to 2014. In these 5 years, because of this business, he built strong business relationships with many Americans and Canadians, especially with those people who were working in American or Canadian defense institutions. He would also host expensive dinners in hotels for those people who knew others working in institutions developing new technologies. Moving from one source to another and from the second to the third, he kept reaching those people from home. Information could be obtained that China needed urgently. People who met this Chinese national, Su Bin, say that he was a very interesting man. He would talk in an entertaining way, arrange dinners in expensive hotels in Seattle, Vancouver, and Los Angeles, tell jokes and keep laughing. But he was a completely such a package whose company was no less than a blessing for people offering from loneliness and seeking a glamorous life. Chinese resident Subin would especially target those among his contacts who were working for or with companies like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, or similar organizations. After becoming somewhat friendly with these people, he would start giving them business offers. From here, this real work would begin. He would say to them, I am not asking you to bring me America's F-35 jet fighter and park it in my garage. But if you can bring me any one system of this aircraft, I can sell it in the market at a very good price, and then we can share this profit among ourselves. Now the system he would ask to obtain would apparently not be a very sensitive system. Therefore, due to greed for profit or considering it harmless, some people would make deals. So this was one method of Sobin. The second method he used was that through his connections, he would find out the positions and work details of those people who were developing technology for the American military. He would send their names and phone numbers in a password-protected email to China. In China, his two associates who were connected with the Chinese military would keep a record of this information. He did this work so simply that sometimes the password of the attached file in an email would be the same as the subject of the email. For example, once he set the email subject as me phone number, which meant that the password of the attached file was his phone number. Similarly, he used to do another task secretly. In detail, this work was that he would send the locations of important computers and sources, personal information of the people working there, their positions, vendor names, their emails, their connections, their HR records, everything to this Chinese military hacker friends. Now this information was a trigger because it was used to assist hacking. The Chinese hacker would now have emails and contacts of all the people working at sensitive and important places. They would also learn their office timing, who was friends with whom and what relationships existed. Then they would send an email or message to a senior person, apparently from one of his close colleagues. In this email, some specific file, product picture, or system drawing would be requested. Just like in routine, colleagues or people working in the company ask each other for things related to work. Along with these emails, there would also be a hidden document or link. As soon as a colleague clicked on the document or link in the email, apparently sent by a coworker, or downloaded the file without his knowledge, his computer would come under the control of Chinese hackers and would be silently hacked. Then Chinese hackers would check the files, make copies, and through that gain access to the entire company's computer network, from where they would get thousands and millions of files and information, which they would give to Sobin and ask which data was useful and which was useless. Sobin, friends, was among those few people in the world who understood spying, networking, hacking, technology, and businesses all together very well. He knew Chinese as well as English, and he also knew all the technical terms used by these high-tech companies, both American and Chinese. That is why he could quickly filter thousands of files and tell his hacker associates which ones were important. Then the hackers would focus more on those files. When these files were hacked and transferred to him, he would work day and night translating the important files into Chinese. Then he would send these files to Hong Kong or Macau, which are semi-autonomous regions within China. There, his hacker associates would keep records of all this information in an operation room. The reason for keeping the data there was that if any international pressure arose, China could say that this hacking was not connected to mainland China. From there, the data would be copied into hard disks and physically transported to mainland China without using the internet. There, this information would be used to develop technology equal to American technology. Friends, from 2009 to 2013, in 4 years, Chinese hackers observed companies like Boeing, Lockheed Martin from the inside. Only from Boeing C-17 aircraft 65 GB of data was copied, which included more than 630,000 files. Thousands of files from Lockheed Martin were also copied. In November 2014, at an air show where the Boeing C-17 was standing, a Chinese Y-20 cargo aircraft, its copy was also seen parked right beside it. Similarly, China developed A-31 as a version of the F-35. Friends, this is the Shaoshoyan technique, achieving great power at low cost. So anyway, just like Sobin's team had hacked the data of Boeing and Lockheed Martin, in the same way they had stolen data from many other American companies as well. They also obtained details of 32 projects of the American military, in which they found out passwords of teams of aircraft manufacturing companies, took lists of their vendors, took details of their maps, took their job descriptions, took designs, even hacked that operation and Indian missile systems while sitting there. And from Taiwan to Tibet, they obtained secret governmental information. This Chinese team did all this for their country, China. And along with that, they also made money from it in the open market. Because they were not only taking money from the Chinese military, but besides sharing this data with the CCP, Chinese Communist Party, they also used to sell it in other places on the dark web in the black market. Just like there is a black market, friends, in the same way there is also a black market on the internet, which we call the dark web. There all this is visible and available. But friends, these hackers could not escape the FBI for long. In earlier times, in 2001, about 21 years ago, American security agencies used to intercept 20 million phone calls and emails daily. Meanwhile, all of these used to pass through their scanners. Wherever they found any word or part of a book suspicious, they would assign a small team to investigate it. But today, friends, there are 5 billion calls daily and more than 300 billion emails are exchanged daily. This is such a huge number that in 1 second 3.5 million emails are sent. So friends, scanning so many emails all the time and then finding suspicious ones is almost impossible for any intelligence agency. That is why agencies have now started taking surveys of young people, freelancers and even hackers, so that they can help them, and they are paid from secret funds only for useful information. Meaning hackers and young people keep working, and whenever they provide information useful to the agency, they are paid for it. So friends, such help was received by the FBI's Los Angeles office in 2014. A hacker or freelancer gave them a tip about an email written in Chinese. Apparently, there was nothing special in that email. Everything was normal, but this normality itself was unusual because everything was in code word. There was one mistake due to which the hacker were caught. The name of an attachment file was not changed. The name of that file was C17 Project Reconciliation Summary. From here, the FBI became suspicious and started surveillance. Gradually, they kept getting evidence, and from one image, they also got information about Shaoshoyan in Canada, and also that 2 individuals were present in China and were connected to a Chinese security agency. The FBI contacted Canada. It was found that Shaoshoyan was about to leave for China at any moment. The FBI wanted to arrest him immediately because if he escaped Bringing him back from China would be impossible. Canada was not ready to arrest him without evidence, but at that time Canada itself was under cyber attacks from Chinese and Russian hackers, so it cooperated with the US and arrested Sobin. But before he could be handed over to the US, China arrested several Canadian citizens, around 200 people. Among them, a well-known case was of Kevin Julia Garrett. China accused them of espionage and sent a message to Canada that if it handed over Sobin, there would be consequences. Thus, Canada got stuck between two global powers, on one side the US and on the other China. Canada delayed the matter through legal complications. After 2 years, when the US could not get him, Sobin decided himself to go to America and fight the case. His lawyer said that this way his punishment could be reduced. Eventually, he was sentenced to 46 months in prison, which he completed, and in 2017 he returned to China. Similarly, the Canadian couple returned in 2016 after serving their sentence. During the trial, Sobin submitted a 35-page confession in which he described how he kept stealing data from American institutions, including Boeing, Lockheed Martin. America calls it theft, but the reality is that America has also been doing the same against China. According to Edward Snowden's leaks, American intelligence agencies used to listen to Chinese leaders' communications even by accessing Huawei systems. They would secretly install programs in mobile phones through which audio and video keep getting recorded. Friends, in the war of technology, there is no place for morality. In 2015, in the meeting between the Chinese president and US President Barack Obama, cyber warfare was the most important topic. Both countries said that they would cooperate against cybercrime, but the reality is that this war is still ongoing. According to the FBI, if not thousands, then hundreds of Chinese hackers are continuously working, and most of them are private who do hacking, considering it a need of their country, and then deliver the information to representatives of the Chinese government. In return, they take money and also consider it a service to their country. In fact, friends, let us tell you that now in 2022, the Chinese have even changed this method, that they do not appoint any member of their team in the United States, Canada, or the United Kingdom. Now, without appointing any individual, they hack such a computer to which they can gain access, and through it they enter the entire system and carry out hacking. According to FBI, they have even less than 10% information about which of our systems have already been intruded by Chinese hackers, just like Sobin had done, because these hackers are so many and so fast that catching them is very difficult. Friends, the problem for America is that it wants to protect itself from hacking, but it is not able to do so, because as soon as American institutions find out where Chinese hackers are hacking within an organization, and they move to stop it, at the same moment the Chinese hackers also find out that their method has been detected. So they immediately withdraw from there, erase all their traces, and leave no trail behind. with new networks and new methods. Because China does not consider it a crime, and neither do its citizens who work for it consider it a crime. They take it as a war policy and act on it with full passion. Because they think that even if there is no war with America right now, it could happen. So if they have to fight, they should be capable of giving an equal fight, and for that, whatever needs to be done, they will do it. So friends, there were the examples of cyber warfare through which you can see China's role in this great game. Now we come to China's other two strategies, lawfare and economic warfare. But friends, this vlog has become quite long, so we will discuss this in the next vlog, and we will also tell you about how algorithms have become part of this great game, and how the algorithms of Google, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok and Instagram are being used for spying. Then we will also share with you Russia's cyber war, through which it has opened a major front against Europe, due to which the whole of Europe, NATO and even America are worried. We will talk about this in the next vlog. Do watch it. This is the ongoing battle of superpowers in today's world, which you can now watch live nowadays as well. Friends, in the world there is never a complete time of peace or war. At all times, peace and war go on together. If it is a time of peace, then behind the scenes of war is being prepared, and if it is a time of war, then behind the scenes efforts for peace are going on. So even today a global war is going, but it is a stealth war, a shadow game, a great game, a cold war continuing with new styles, new methods and full intensity. If you have missed the first story of this series, then go and watch it. Friends, in this difficult world we are doing for you, support us and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.